Well, hello, Quest. Good to see you. Here we are on the week of the 4th of July. I've got my red, white, and blue on. Not on purpose, frankly, today, but we're going to celebrate and looking forward to it. So there are two or three things that I'd like to share this week in this video newsletter. The first one is this, is just want to encourage or remind you if you would consider parking up at Pond and riding our new shuttle back and forth before and after service. We're kind of right on the cusp of the necessity of that. We already have the need, but when we have 150 people, which is not uncommon for us, our parking lot actually fills up. And so we actually need 10, maybe 20. Eventually, I hope and I think that we'll need about 30 cars to park up there so that we can have those new people who are coming, and there are new people coming, that we'd have those parking spots open for them. So I just want to encourage you to reconsider maybe parking up there. I know it's a little bit inconvenient, for sure, but it's not that inconvenient. And so if you would consider parking up there so that we would be able to be open, because if we want to be a church in and for the community, where we're open for the skeptic and the inquirer and the already convinced, there are people who are searching for meaning in life, answers to the questions of life, being connected to people, and they want to be in a place where some people are reasonable and friendly and engaging, and frankly, that's you. That's Quest. So I just want to encourage you, will you consider parking up there to allow more and more people to be here, okay? The second thing is next week, we're having a Zoom membership class, and for anybody who wants to be a member of Quest who's not already, and it's pretty easy. We'll meet for a couple hours on a Zoom call, and I'll send you all the text or all the handout, all the printed stuff. You'll have it before that. We can walk through it really quickly and see what it looks like and what it means to be a member at Quest in the process. So sure would invite you to be a part of that. So if you do it. Third thing, the 4th of July. Now, it is not a distinctly Christian event, right? It's a part of American history. And our independence from England and how that all came about. And I love that stuff. I've always been interested in it since I was a kid. I majored in college in history and primarily in colonial history and Black history. That was my interest. And so Diane and I just went on vacation. We were in Virginia to do a wedding, which was totally fun. And then we stayed for several days and we did kind of colonial America. We did Williamsburg one day, we did Yorktown the next day, we did Mount Vernon the following day, and then Monticello on the last day of just seeing and kind of relating to that whole revolutionary, that colonial America thing. We loved it. It's just so interesting. And I think my favorite thing this past time was Yorktown. I didn't anticipate that, but it was. And be able to stand in front of the house where Cornwallis and Washington signed a surrender there at the Battle of Yorktown. And Cornwallis was fit to be tied. He was so mad that a bunch of, citizen soldiers had defeated his British army. Now, the French were absolutely critical in our victory there under Lafayette. But it's just so interesting to be a part of that and to watch. And I really believe as over the years, people began to identify themselves as Americans rather than English, rather than British. And they said, we kind of want to do our own thing. And obviously it came at a huge price. It was interesting to me that during the Revolutionary War from 1774 for the next 8 years, that Washington was home at Mount Vernon one time in 8 years. It's an incredible sacrifice. He was a leader of men. Men loved him and would follow him and would sacrifice for him. And he, in his 2 times as president, was elected by the Electoral College purely at that point, unanimously, twice. And so he was a leader that men trusted. May we have those kinds of men again as our leaders in our country. So, this 4th of July, may you enjoy celebrating our independence. Now, probably the most painful part of the trip for me was kind of recognizing that in our culture today, in America, there are a couple of things that are kind of rumbling around. And I think what they are is a change in our attitude towards the rule of law and the role of faith. We live in a time of increasing anarchy, where the rule of law is becoming less important to people, in that it is the rule of a minority and the violence of a minority that is creating the kind of chaos and the kind of anarchy that we're going through in our country. I think it's going to increase as this election year unfolds. Don't be undermined by it. Don't be alarmed by it. It is real. And so just trust that God is still working. And even in that anarchy, he is working and around that. So the rule of law is being challenged. The other one is the role of faith. And I was reminded that even though in our Constitution we talked about the separation of church and state, it is not intended to be the separation of church from state or the role of faith divorcing itself in our culture. It's not. We've always been a culture that has had a significant piece that the faith of our people, and for we believe in a Judeo-Christian faith, that God is trustworthy and will guide if we'll trust him and obey him. So we live in a culture where the rule of law and the role of faith is being challenged and trying to be undermined. And so recognize what's going on, but hang in there and honor the rule of law and the role of faith in our culture, in our world, okay? All right. Hey, I really love you guys. I look forward to the days ahead that we would pull together as people to be what he's called us to be a light in the midst of darkness, to be salt in the midst of a tasteless culture. And that people would say, I recognize them as being people who have been with Jesus, and they're different. And that we would make a difference in the world, right? All right. Hey, love you guys. Be well. Take care. See you soon.